The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful afternoon, morning, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on who you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have most of the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle, inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
What's up?
As for myself,
What's funny, man?
I'm sorry. Jay's funny. Jay is funny. I don't know what happened, but I just you all can't see Jay, but I can see Jay. So that's what made me laugh, because Jay was like scrambling to get back, and I'm not mad at him. I appreciate that. I'm just saying I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, oh, Jay.
I needed to fix my background.
Got it. It looks good. I was gonna give you a compliment, but anyway. My name's Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. We are going to be talking to you all about San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition. And we will be talking to you about our trip down there as the Fantastic Forum. Shout out to Oz, who can't be with us today, unfortunately. He loves his wife. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. But he's here with us in spirit, and I'm sure he'll be adding to this conversation next week. But for now, we'll hold it down for him and be talking about San Diego shenanigans and all of us being together in the same room for the first time in many, many moons. So it'll be a good show. Of course, we'll talk about some of the news coming out of there. We'll talk about some other news, I'm sure, and other things. And, of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin. Because without him, the show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope you're doing well, man. And yeah. So if you want to get down with Fantastic Forum, it turns out we have some ways for you to do that. Here's how.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
FantasticForum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
We gotta figure out a way to increase our budget for next year or for the next Comic Con so that we can invite the intern to come with us.
She refused this year to stay in the Hall of F.
I'm not sure I can blame her. She's like, the Hall of what? No. Exactly. So anyway, yeah. So I guess we should just get into it, right, gents?
Yeah.
Into the Hall of F. What? Should we tell the people what the Hall of F is?
The Hall of F is a big concrete 4-story building where we did our shenanigans at Comic-Con. And it's huge, it's cavernous. We filmed stuff there that's coming. We had many rooms with many backdrops. We can probably recruit more members into the F League. And
Wait, why the F League?
Because the Hall of Justice, Hall of F.
But why can't we just be the Fantastic Forum in the Hall of F?
Well, I guess you want to be basic about it. But
I feel like
trying to give the people hope, Larry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
But yeah, it was fun. We set up. I have pictures of the setup that we had and stuff, but I didn't put them up in our sharing queue because for some reason the Brave browser doesn't use the codec that these videos are done in, or StreamYard doesn't do them through this browser. So yeah, there's that. So, but you'll see it. You'll see it in our Instagram if you follow us. If you hit subscribe, like the bell, you're gonna see Larry handling Oz's package. There's one of those coming in, as well as like just background shenanigans that were filled. I mean, Larry finally watched the other Lily, and he had a live stream audience watching him watch it, and he was still scared, even though there's a ton of people there. You hear that giggle? Jay was really giddy, and man, I wish Oz was here too to share those videos because there, Joe was giddy for some particular art he bought, and I've seen Joe excited is very off-putting. Excited Joe is usually just cool, calm, and collected. Joe, he's like Jack Bauer, you know, and even when he's happy or when he's sad, he's like Jack Bauer. But seeing him really giddy was took a little getting used to. And I was happy to see him happy the whole weekend because that actually I got used to it. I got used to seeing him happy, which I like.
I can agree with you that Jay usually does play it pretty low key, and even when he's having a good time, it's like you may not, if you don't know Joe, you may not be able to necessarily tell he's having a good time. And yeah, you're all right. Jay was like, I was like, man, this fool's about to pass out. Like, he literally had to pull himself out the situation. He's like, I gotta step away. I was like, oh shit. Jay out here getting emotional.
The people out there in the audience, they might not realize, but Jay is on his 7th marriage. And, basically, they all have the same thing in common. They got tired of asking, what are you thinking? Like, why are you not happy? I have this Netflix day for you. And you just say, cool. Yeah. But inside, he's like, yeah, but he just plays it cool.
Right. He got that special lip quiver for that. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con special edition. Like, realistically, obviously, with it being during the Thanksgiving weekend, there was going to be a lot less people there. We all knew that. You know, I know that when I bought my ticket initially, I know personally, I didn't know what the safety protocols were going to be, but I was taking it on faith they were going to be decent ones, and it turned out that was in fact the case, in the sense that you would needed to be, you know, proof of vaccination, or you needed your vaccination record, or proof of a negative COVID test in the last, I don't know if it was 48 or 72 hours, but one of those two. I'm pretty sure it was 48 hours because I think you had to show up more than once over the course of the weekend, I think, if you went all 3 days. And, you know, I will say that masks were required. And I will say that from what I saw, it felt like most people were almost everybody was adhering to that. Like I you know, every now and then you see somebody. Actually, you know what? Actually, I will say I can only think of one person I saw that, you know, I kind of caught without a mask on. Everybody else was only taking their mask off to like eat or drink, and that was it. So, you know, I was pleasantly surprised with how smooth that process was in regards to not only getting verified for your vaccination, but then, you know, even badge pickup, and how, you know, people were just like all about that mask life for the most part. How did you all feel about the convention just from a safety standpoint? Jay, how about you? Start with you.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty safe. And like I said, very few people not wearing their mask and or wearing their mask incorrectly. Which I was a little shocked, but yeah, everyone Like it felt like people wanted to be there and wanted to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the most part, yeah, everyone there is masked up. I feel like we got lucky, me and Lawrence, because when we went to go show our vaccination to get our little wristband, there was no line. And so, like, we got in super easy, super fast. I know, like, some people the day before and or later in the day, I think they had, like, kind of a big line, but I didn't experience that. And, yeah, like you say, for the most part, unless people were eating or drinking, it was mask on.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say too, like that wasn't luck. That was by design, and that was Moses and Emily basically, giving us the heads up, saying like, hey, y'all need to get down there early because you don't want to be waiting in these lines. And I'm like, hey, okay, like if we getting up early to go, like I'm not gonna, you don't threaten me with a good time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, let's get to Comic-Con early so we get passes early and then get in early. Okay, done. So
yeah,
Mo, how about you? How'd you feel about the safety?
The safety was done pretty well. I mean, if you go a couple episodes back when we talked about New York Comic Con, you can kind of hear me ranting about some of the complaints that people had, that where people were without masks, they got kicked out, and other people did and didn't. I actually saw one of the worker dudes go like, "Hey man, please make sure to wear your mask," to somebody that had it like over the nose,
Mm-hmm.
or not over the nose. And I was like, okay. But as far as that line go, that testing line, it really is, that QAnon's full of shit, man. Because, like, for us, the line was long and it was efficient because they had people, everybody had their paperwork. Nobody was starting shit. Like, they had, I think, about 6 or 7 people checking people. So the line was moving 7 people at a time. And, and we still were there before it opened. We were there at 9 and it was long. And I know people got their vaccination wristband on Tuesday instead of that Friday ahead of time. Everything was open since Monday. They only closed Thursday for that. So it was very efficient. Had there been a microchip in the vaccine, it would have been a lot easier. We could have just walked right in because the scanner would have done it, But the world isn't perfect, and it's we got ours 2 hours ahead, and then we went and chilled out a little bit, and went back, and it was a good time. It was easy and smooth. I think efficient is the key word, because there was no hold up,
Right.
like unnecessary hold up, which is usually what I get the willies about in situations like this. Yeah.
Right.
We've gone to Comic-Con where there's a line for almost nothing. Like, wow, you're standing in a line, and then you realize that it's just people just started standing there to like read the program, and then the line formed behind them because people are so used to long ass lines. Yeah.
Right. It's like this dude who thought this was the bathroom line. He peed himself right here. He peed himself right here in front of all of us. Yeah. And y'all were just standing there looking at what was happening in friggin' Hall D. But the other thing, of course, that made this different, which again, we knew coming in, but to actually see it and be a part, of course, is the like drastic, like I don't want to say decline, but like the I guess there being so few people there, like, and I mean, obviously we knew it wasn't going to be San Diego Comic-Con pre-COVID levels. Like, we knew it wasn't going to be that, but I don't know. I felt like, I think personally, I don't think I was ready for the like how few people were actually there, because walking in some of these places during a Comic-Con and it feeling like so few people around me, like literally we were just like, you have free reign of the whole place. And it's like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was refreshing, and a little like eerie, you know, um, like even I don't know if it was because Oz and I were there so early, but like walking in and you see a big name artist, doing the commission stuff in Artist Alley. The door led you to Artist Alley, and I like that because people need to go to Artist Alley more. And yeah, right when we go, we get to Mirka Andolfo, which if you listen to the show, you know Mirka Andolfo, you know her work. We review almost every one of her books just as an excuse to talk about them. And yeah, there was only like 4 people ahead of me, and it was right at open. But usually those, like any other Comic-Con, those lines fill up quick, And it was like, it was a good. I wish Comic-Con was more of a success. I don't know what the numbers are in this one, if it was successful or not. It was successful in that the way that they the protocol and this kind of dry run of what next year might be like. Maybe they could do something bigger. I think it was a success in that respect, but I wish it was a little bigger. But I like the vibe it had, the way it was. Like, it might be something we might not experience for another while. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that was a big part of I know it was a big part of me wanting to go, where I was just like, you're not going to have another opportunity to go to a Comic-Con during this particular time and probably with this few people. Because I know for myself, like, despite being a lifelong comic book fan, the first time I went to Comic-Con was with Fantastic Forum, basically. So, it's like, despite growing up in Los Angeles and it being right down the street, it was like, I didn't have like, the access, the money, like none of that stuff to be able to just go down to Comic-Con during the time when it wasn't like a pop culture friggin' phenomenon. So it's like, when the first time I went, it was just people everywhere. And so, to see this and be like, oh, like, there was a point in time where Comic-Con was like this every year. Yeah. It's like, that's kind of wild to think.
The first time I went wasn't like this. This was less than that, but it was still the vibe, that small convention feel, It's just more people went.
Right.
And so this felt more like a, like in terms of the amount of people there, it felt more like a LA Comic-Con or a or Long Beach Comic-Con,
Yeah, but I it's almost less than that too, though. In the past, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I feel like there's a lot more pomp and circumstance for things that have been happening with like Long Beach or with LA Comic-Con, definitely, and even in Long Beach to a degree. Even though Long Beach is closer in the field, but it feels like, because Long Beach is still right down the street from LA. It feels like, there's you still have a certain amount of like celebrity and a certain amount of like, oh man, like who might be there that just wasn't quite there for this particular show, because it kind of felt like, well, I don't think anybody's going to be here other than, well, or like when you're talking about, I guess, you're talking about mainstream kind of names, you know what I mean? Because at the same time, it's like the level of talent that was at this show in regards to comics, of course, was still pretty good, because there was a lot of really cool and talented people that you were able to like see, friggin' meet and interact with. And because there were so few people there, it's like people that would normally have no time to speak because they have to draw, or they have to be on a panel and rush from one panel to the next panel. Like, none of that was happening. It was like, it was all just like, all right, this is the vibe. Let's like, let's do our Comic-Con thing, So it's cool. Mo,
you can have conversations with people.
Right. Exactly. So Mo, I know you had mentioned both how the show opens or the entrance opened right into Artist Alley, and you'd mentioned Mirka Andolfo earlier.
Yeah.
Like let's talk about what that experience was like. And I know that I think we have some video of that too, right?
Yeah. There's
Perfect. So we can take today and give you back probably tomorrow.
It's gonna be 55 on the card.
Just one moment. Just, sorry. What's your name, sir?
Oscar?
Oscar?
Yes.
Which character would you like?
Batgirl.
Hey,
Batgirl?
Oh wait,
Yeah.
is that the whatchamacallit? Is that the other?
Yeah,
Is
he
that
played
the
one first.
Oh, that's okay.
But
So-
I blame Larry.
yeah.
How can
But
you
it's
blame
fine.
me?
I can talk about. So if you watch that video, and you see there's a green book right there, and you can play it with no audio.
Oh, this is the one you wanted.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Take that off because I'm going with the I'm talking it up. I'm making do with what was already done. So that one, that's Oz getting his commission. Oz had left. That green book right there is mine. And as you see, the yellow sign, the pink sign right there says that she'll be signing from 1 to 2 p.m. and then from 4 to 5 p.m., right? But instead of drawing my book, she clearly is signing books at a time where it's not scheduled to be signing books. Right. So that's just a little bit of a little precursor to what actually happened. She was the first table we saw, and I decided to buy stuff. I bought a sketchbook of hers, and she did a sketch in it. It was $30 for the sketchbook, $30 for a sketch in it, $60 for essentially a commissioned art because she asked you what character you wanted, and yeah, I'm like, that's a no-brainer. I love her art, I love her work, and it's the first one I see. Like, I'm doing it. There's only 4 people ahead of me, and for some reason, the dude next to her handler in Italian is like, it's like.
What language is
Basically
that?
pushing other people's sketches ahead of mine. So I'm like, hey, I got shit to do here. You know me? So
Right.
that's her, like, basically, signing stuff while the other guy is taking Oz's order. And yeah. And then I made a little montage of all the sketches being done ahead of mine. And that's the other video, Jay, if you would play that.
Oh.
And basically, yeah, there was about that Wolverine she's doing. That's the one we walked in with. And that thing was amazing. And I think she actually put that aside to do the other stuff. But yeah, and then we took a look through her little sketchbook right there, which, I mean, stuff was expensive, but even those prices there were pretty good.
Yeah.
But there was, I mean, a lot of stuff. So she's over here sketching a bunch of stuff ahead of mine, and I realized it was comicsketchart.com that fucking did that the
booth.
that did the handling for her. And there's a company that I've ranted about here on Fantastic Forum. They do bad work, bad customer service, and after this, it has been my life's mission to destroy them. I'm going to start contracting artists and taking booths away from them. And I'm going to create a artist pimp empire. And then she's right there doing that Wolverine sketch again. And
Looks so good.
Bad customer service. And all right. And that's over. So that green book is mine. That at this point, I believe that's like the 3rd book she did ahead of mine.
Oh, I'm so sad.
I'm just sitting there, and then later this dude with no hair comes up and asks for another one, and then they just push him ahead of me to my face, to my fucking face, Larry.
It's messed up, man. They got no respect for Moses Magnum.
Yeah, and it's like, maybe I'm accustomed to better customer service, but she could have told me to come back in an hour.
Right.
You told Joe to come back in an hour.
That is true. And there was barely anybody there when Joe came.
Yeah. So, but that's the luck of the draw. That's not her fault. It's comicsketchart.com's fault and my fault for having high standards in customer service. And we're coming up again. I mean, watching her draw is amazing, though. Like, I could just sit there and do it. Like,
yeah.
She's so good. And she's so fast.
Yeah.
Honestly, he learned some technique from her in terms of shading, like to shade really fast. And it cuts off time. But yeah, you're about to see the bald guy come and ask for shit, and it's the anger on my face, and it's not. That wasn't a pleasant experience, and that was my first experience walking in. So I wasn't happy, but alas, there was more convention to go to, and other things made me happy later, and we'll get to that in a little bit. In the meantime, enjoy my surly face.
Oh.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. That was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence.
Damn,
That song written in response to JFK dying.
Yeah. Well, that was my JFK dying.
Listen, I don't even while that was playing, I started a GoFundMe for you. I don't even know what for. I'm just like, damn. I'm like, man, it felt like the commercial, like where they abuse the puppies, and I'm like, no, like take my money. Jesus.
So this is the book I got. It is the MK20. It's her sketches from 2020. The pandemic year, it's got all the covers, all the stuff she did online.
It's got some earlier stuff from 2016 also.
Yeah, but it's the book they published, I guess, for the convention that would have happened in 2020. And the sketch she did for me was in here.
It's very nice.
Nice.
That.
And
Dude,
here's
so
the thing.
good.
She waited for mine the longest, and it wasn't as good as the one she did ahead of mine. I got a picture of Oz's here. Let's see, share here.
Meanwhile, in chat, Tiger Claw says, "Why did that sound so depressing? Is that how you felt while at Comic-Con?" Tiger Claw, I think, just came into the show, so he missed the whole preamble to the story. And then Black Capat says, I can put $5 on that GoFundMe.
So that's the one that she did right before getting to mine.
It's so good.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so
makes mine look like shit.
And that's messed up because I'm sure you were very happy with yours until you saw his.
Well, no, I saw his first. So
so you're like, that's the caliber I'm getting.
excited for mine. She rushed through mine, and granted, I still like mine, but it doesn't look like that.
No, that's definitely the good load, as you like to say.
Yeah. So
yours is great though.
You don't have to coddle me, Larry. You're not my mother didn't coddle me either. But
I'm just telling you,
you're not
it's
my
great
teacher, Larry. It's okay.
Or was I?
I accept the reality.
I'm old
thing
now,
is-
so maybe
And,
I was your
Joe,
first
I
grade
don't know if
teacher.
you have yours handy, Joe, but you got one done too. Now, while you
I
get
got
that,
2 done.
okay, the first one you got done that second day, right?
Yeah.
Or that first day? Well, yeah,
The
Saturday.
first day I was there.
Oh, look at
And I
that.
got Peridot from Steven Universe.
Very nice.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And what was the other one you got done?
I ended up getting Lose, which
Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, and look,
And I
here's-
realized the next day that like I picked the wrong characters. Like I totally should have had her do Neris from
here's the
Cap
thing.
Camp.
Jay, look, you're a Mirka Andolfo fan. There's no disputing it. The motherfuckers that went ahead of me, not one of them picked any of her characters. You know, I picked an actual character. I wasn't actually. I picked a character from the current book. Like she even said, like, thank you when I said Paprika, because nobody's asking her for Paprika commission. You know, and like, had I known that that's how I was going to go for me, and I would have just picked something. I was really like, I was ready to just leave my money there, leave the book, and just leave. You know, like,
so why would you leave everything? Why?
because I'm so angry.
No, man.
Like, I'll just fuck it. You know, I would
Maybe-
be telling you the story if I didn't have the artwork. If I would have just left it, so that would have been better.
Right.
But, yeah, it's a whole mess. Like I even told the comic sketch art lady that the one running the place, I told her about the issue I had from last Comic Con with Marguerite Bennett's book Animosity, and she told me to go fuck myself. She's like, nobody's ever complained about that, and you're the only one, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, all right. This is where comic sketch art .com. I'm giving you the plug not to buy there, but I'm giving you the plug to email them, tell them to go fuck themselves, and that you will not buy from any artist that works with them, at least not from while they're on the comicsketchart.com booth.
Right.
Now, the thing, like, if you go to Mirka Andolfo's website, they're also on that. So,
Comic sketch art?
mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they're on the website, on her page. So, I guess I'm gonna end up supporting them tangentially.
I'm sure it's just all part of the contract. You know what I mean?
How do
It's
you like
when-
for your friend Jay? Like,
Well,
that reaction. Jay's like,
if she doesn't open up commissions, I guess I can not buy from her.
Joe's like, if I can't get any art from her, if you won't allow me to get art from her, I guess I can support you in not getting art from her. But yes. Like, well, and that's fair. It's like, you know what?
Well, I mean,
Jay's
because
giving you the parameters.
she sells her sketches. Like, you can still buy her sketches and her art prints and her covers.
and I wish Oz was here for multiple reasons. You know, I love him on the show. He was there with me. If he hadn't showed up to order that Batgirl, I would have left because, you know, I thought I was going to have to wait for his sketch to be done. And, but also his face when he, like, when I say that he went first, like him with his glasses going like I would have been good for the show because he was gloating. I'm glad that glad they treated him like shit at where we went to eat lunch the next day. because of what happened. He knew they Mirka Andolfo'd his ass at the burger at Tivoli's food spot.
And you want to talk about like how empty everything was compared to normal Comic Cons. Tivoli's was dead. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen it that way. Like it's that's I think the only part that was a little eerie to me. Is like walking in afternoon, not even like late afternoon,
Like midday.
but yeah, like midday, and there's like one guy drinking on the patio and us.
Basically.
And then there was a couple inside, but I think they were the bartender's parents. It's like they went to visit her at work because she was eating lunch with them. And San Diego got hit by this pandemic thing, man. I don't know how. I didn't realize how much they relied on
tourism
because it really looks like a lot of places closed down. A lot of places changed to a different business, and it's like the staff at the convention were like, thank you for coming, because if you didn't come, I wouldn't have a job. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I mean, out here in LA, you see the what happened, but out here there's I don't know what it is out here. Like, people don't give a shit. Everybody's doing fine. I don't know. I don't get it. But San Diego, and it saddens me to see it because I've been going to Comic Con since I was 16, and I didn't want them, there was talks of them moving to LA or to Vegas, and as much as I love Vegas, I don't want them to move from San Diego. I like it there.
Right.
That's Comic Con to me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you, man. Like Jay, I agree with you 100% in regards to like being at Tivoli's, and it's wild just because we're used to Tivoli's being rambunctious, and we're used to going to Tivoli's like I mean, I don't know, like I feel like when we go during like regular Comic Con, it feels like when we're all there together, it feels like we end up there like at least 2 or 3 times over the course of like the weekend, 3 or 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
And like it was weird just it being basically just us and then that one random dude. And then of course there was that crazy encounter which I'm just like, what is happening right now? Like it was like well, listen, I'll just do a quick recounting. And then maybe Mo, you might be able to help shed some light on what you think was happening here. Because I know for me, what I saw was this. I saw the gentleman that Joe had mentioned before was, the one guy drinking on the patio. And, he spoke to us when we came in. He was like, hey, how y'all doing? He spoke to us. He was just being what I perceived just being nice. We sat. We ordered some drinks. We ordered some food. I think the drinks finally came. We were sitting there drinking, talking. This dude came and was walking in the direction of the guy on the patio, because you have the patio in the street and then you have the other regular smaller patio that's like off the sidewalk. So you got to walk in between the two to get where you're going. So, this guy's walking technically towards us and our group too, and towards this other guy. But, we're talking, chatting, so we don't say anything to him. This other guy says, hey, how you doing? You need any help? I'm pretty sure that's what he said. You need any help? And the guy seemingly ignored him, walked past him, but then he turned around and he said, are you looking to die today? And of course, the dude, like, we're across the way on the other side of the sidewalk, but we can hear everything. We weren't looking because, or at least I know, like, people, like, we're in a booth, so technically this guy's walked past me because I'm looking the opposite direction. He's walked past me. I can't see the dude over there drinking unless I turn around. The guy has walked past me. And so when he spins around and says, are you looking to die today? Of course, I turned around. I was like, what is happening? Because I didn't hear this guy say anything to him other than, do you need some help? And man, this guy was just like super intense. Like, are you looking to die today? He's like, don't talk to me. He's like, do you know who I am? And at this point, I'm just like, it's the first time I think I've ever heard somebody say, do you know who I am? And I was like, I actually want to know who he is now. Like, why is he talking to this dude like this? Like, who is he? Who does he think he is? Like, I don't know. And it was just like, it went from 0 to 60 from my perspective. I was just like, man, this messed around and escalated quickly. Now, luckily, the dude, like, the guy sitting on the patio, I feel like he seemed as if he was as shocked as we were. But at the same time, he was just like, I mean, he I guess was trying to save a little bit of face, but at the same time wasn't really trying to go. I don't even remember what he was saying because the guy kept
I'm just asking you if you need help. If you don't need help, keep walking. If you need help, yeah.
And that all sounds relatively reasonable
to
me. Like, where, but I don't know. Mo, is there some sort of underlying thing happening here that I'm not aware of? Because I was like totally taken aback by this whole thing.
There's one thing I didn't see, and it was the young black dude. And I emphasize black dude because Jay might have the answer on why this happened this way. He walked from behind me, and then I just saw him on the way back. But later on, when I went to get more drinks, I saw the dude that asked him if he needed help coming from the parking lot with his little man bag and like looking. I'm not gonna jump to conclusions, but it looked like when I used to buy dime bags behind the Denny's. You know what I mean? So if you need some help is code for like you want to buy some drugs off of me. Like he was well within his right to ask that question. But if the other guy got offended, he knew he was being sold drugs. Like he's like, you profiled me as a druggie, and he got offended, then he could react that way. Or if he was like looking like he needed help, like he was in distress, that'd be different. And he might as well. So, but yeah, I honestly can't tell you what went on. Jay, what do you think happened there?
It's just your typical like kind of black overreaction.
What?
What? Sometimes.
Are you looking to die today? Are you looking to die, you son of a bitch?
I'm just saying some people have no chill. And this guy was one of them.
Well, I'll say this. I don't feel like that has anything to do with him being black. I think he's just a dude that happened to be black that maybe happens to have a little less chill. Or maybe, as Moses said, he was offended by the fact that he felt like he was being profiled and just feeling like, hey, he was
actually in mental distress and is not well, and
it could be
any attempt at help as an attack. Yeah,
that could be it too.
But yeah, I don't know what the thing is. That's the key factor. I don't know what he did to cause that guy to ask if he needed help.
But did he ask us if we needed help when we came?
Not that I know.
No. But we were in a group.
Yeah.
People in groups don't like to do drugs?
Well, normally someone will break away from the group to, procure.
Yeah.
So, like, if I was like, if we were in the group and then Oz just kind of stood back, like into the sidewalk, like if he had just kind of stood there, he would have been signaling that he might be looking to buy, and he may have asked him if he needed help, and they might have did their thing.
Why do you know so much about this, Jay?
I don't know. Like, it's not something I grew up with, but it is something I know about.
Oh, okay.
And I also know if someone does offer to sell you drugs and you don't want to, you just say nah and you walk on, because otherwise you're creating a scene. And if you're with the drug dealer, you don't actually want to cause a scene, because that is when bad things tend to happen. Like, you're causing a scene, and then the police roll up on you, and then all of a sudden, you definitely were trying to buy, and it just went wrong, is why you guys are yelling at each other.
Right.
So it's like...
Then they plant something on you.
It's like, it's just bad to be caught up in that kind of shit. Also, yeah, it's just say nah, move on. Like, he's operating out of a restaurant. Like, the cook is probably his friend. So it's like...
Wait, why is it the cook?
Oh, man, you saw that.
Normally it's the cook.
Oh, okay.
Cooks
the
are
bartenders
crazy.
Are normally, like, if it were a classier place, I would say the bartender, but it's Tivoli's. Like, it's definitely the cook.
Why couldn't it be the bartender's parents? They might be running the whole operation.
I didn't see the parents.
The kingpins of this whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't see the parents.
That's fair.
So if I got a better look at them.
Now, what I can say about the whole situation, Larry, is that it is definitely on brand for Comic-Con with Fantastic Forum.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you hang out with us at a Comic-Con, some shit like that goes down.
Always. There's always one.
And it's not our fault.
No.
There's always, we always say the white words incident. Like,
white words.
Like, that shit was weird, and it happened. And
it did happen.
There's footage on some hard drive somewhere of it. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, yeah, it for some reason we're there when weird shit happens at Comic-Con.
And this is how you know.
What's the other one? When was it Jim Lee's wife almost got arrested?
Oh yeah, damn,
yeah.
That was so crazy.
That was our first time.
I think you're right. I'm pretty sure it was. Which that was insane. That was insane. Which I don't think it was technically. I don't think it was technically the girlfriend or wife. What ended up being his wife. I think it was the PR person that ended up getting arrested. Just so you know, I don't want Jim Lee to like. Right. Yeah, I think that was, which, and I don't even know if she got arrested. She might have just gotten like detained, but detained with prejudice for no good reason, because it's like she's awesome. There was no reason to treat her like that. And Jim Lee didn't use his Asian privilege to help her at all.
It's just a weird situation, but for some reason, Fantastic Forum was there.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, that's how you know,
now, right? Jay?
Say
That's why he hates us now?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, that's not why he hates us.
I think he hates you all because you all keep making that weird little he wants to draw hand every time you see him.
No, that's why he hates me. I think he hates Mo because Mo said something while he was drunk to Jim Lee.
Well, I was asking him what happened when as the cops were there. I'm like, what's happening, man? You need help? He's like,
no, it was a different thing. Like, you were drunk and you said something to him, and now he looks at you sideways. And
you're like,
I always do the pencil thing. Like, I always note how his hand is like always like this. Like, he'll just be standing like this. Like, he's just needs a pencil, and now he kind of like looks at me weird.
And then
But I think Larry is okay.
he hates Oz because of cookies.
What cookies? Oh, the cookies at the Wild Store panel?
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that. Jesus. Like, of all the things to remember, that Oz hogged the cookies at the Wild Store panel. Listen. Oh man, it's so crazy. I gotta look up my social, but I remember that. No. Anyway, friggin' yeah, man. I was just gonna say that it's like a wild, like something about the energy we like the environment we create, because like there was no people out there. It wasn't even like a thing where like, you know, this particular Comic-Con, there's like it literally was just us and that random dude. And so somehow we were able to still have one of those incidents manifest, which was weird.
And I feel like as far as Comic-Cons go for us, like this was the one where we're trying to just be like adults.
Dude, 100%. Like I was actually a little shocked by how chill you all were. Because I thought y'all were gonna wild out, especially because we had like our own place and stuff. And everybody was on their best behavior. I was like, oh, okay, look, we're going to bed early.
And then that's you know, there wasn't alcohol was flowing like wine and cheese or milk and honey, you know.
No, absolutely no.
It was Larry's birthday. I brought a bottle of 12-year-old scotch.
Oh, it was so good too.
Well, Larry did edibles.
I did one. But...
That's you say edibles. That's how you say it.
Oh,
that's
edible
of the streets.
Man, it's like.
And then he thought a dog was Fluffy, but it turned out to be some lady's son.
You were so dumb. The dog was Fluffy. It was a dog, and it was Fluffy. Why didn't anybody else touch it?
Because it was a little boy.
I hope it was a dog. I hope.
But we're moving ahead, Larry. What was your like first impression going in? Like, what's the first thing you saw going into this new weird way of doing Comic-Con and seeing like, oh, okay, we're kind of back now, or if you even had that feeling?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously, the first thing that struck me right away is the fact that we entered through Hall H. And, you know, Hall H is such an iconic part of Comic-Con normally, where, you know, you have like all of the big panels that happen there through the day. And that's like people are camping out for days to get into this place. And of course, we walked in through that area, and it's like it's the area they're using to like, you know, register people and get your badges and, you know, so, like get your name tags and stuff. So it's like that in a lot of ways set the tone for me, where I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, we're like, don't even think about trying to think if like big stuff is about to happen this year or in this event. Because where the big stuff happens, or where we're used to the big stuff happening, like we want y'all to see that this is empty from the jump. So that set expectations, and that doesn't mean that, you know, I it's not like I was like, oh, I'm less excited that I was here because of that. It's just one of those things where I didn't know that was how it was going to happen. You know, I'm sure that it probably in some of the in some of the stuff, the like informational stuff you get, where they're like, hey, it probably said that you're gonna pick up your bag at Hall H, but I didn't read that, so I didn't know. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, so this is, I mean, I knew it was gonna be different, but that kind of set the tone for how different it was gonna be. And then from that point, walking into the spot, and again, walking right into Artist Alley set another tone too, because it made the whole con feel like it was going to be much more creator, like comic creator focused, which was, you know, for me, that's a plus, like, because I love comic book creators. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool that celebrities show up to Comic-Con, and it's great that you get to see like movie trailers and TV stuff and like, you know, like the cast of different shows. Like, all that stuff is great. Like I'm not saying it shouldn't be there. What I'm saying is, like, for most shows, like, or let me put it like this: if you are giving me personally the choice between like meeting like the star or whatever the hottest show is at any given moment, and like whoever is like the top like writer or artist for a comic book that I particularly like, I'm gonna pick that comic book creator every time over, you know, just about any random, you know, star that, and I might be a fan of theirs, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's very few celebrities that I'm like, I would rather be talking to them than like, say for instance, you know, Jay Lee. You know, like if I have a conversation with Jay Lee, it's like I want to do that, you know, because it's Jay Lee. That's amazing. So, you know, and that was like walking into Artist Alley set that tone, like Mirka Andolfo right up front. It's like, that's cool because Mirka Andolfo, she's amazing. And it's like to have like that kind of access, and it's just like she just be here. It's like I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I felt like, oh, I can sit there and just talk to her in the same way that we were able to sit and talk with some of the other artists because she was super busy. But, you know, like I felt like at any other or in any previous version of Comic-Con up until now, we wouldn't even be able to exchange pleasantries with Mirka Andolfo because there'd be people there that would be handling a line for her. That would be, and they would be like, dude, you can't stand right here because, you know, if you want to sketch, you can talk to that person that's over there and you can join the end of the line at that end of the table and somebody's going to sell you the book to get the sketch in over there. You know, it's like, it would have been a much more a logistics kind of thing.
And real quick,
yeah.
Just speaking to how busy Mirka Andolfo is, she's like doing like a ton of shit right now. Like, I think it was last weekend she was in Las Vegas at a comic shop doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Comic-Con last weekend. This weekend coming up, she's in Emerald City Comic-Con. Like, she just got a ton of shit going on. And
That's
we can still like, yeah. But we were still able to like exchange pleasantries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can like, she just kind of nonstop.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. I wonder what makes a Mirka Andolfo, or I shouldn't say what makes a Mirka Andolfo, because I understand what makes, but it's interesting that like Emerald City is this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Like it's interesting that LA Comic-Con wouldn't try to make a bid to have a Mirka Andolfo, and maybe they did, but maybe they couldn't outbid.
Well, it's whoever's comic sketch art.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, whatever they want to.
Yeah, and Emerald City Comic-Con is definitely a bigger show than LA Comic-Con, but I was thinking for the convenience aspect of it, where it's like, if you're already in California, maybe just hang out during the week and go there, at the end of, it's like give yourself like those 3 days to recoup in San Diego and or LA. But yeah, it's comic sketch art. You're right. And they're like, no, more people could be at Emerald City. So that's where they are. So
you mentioned Jay Lee earlier, and he was one of the names there. And he's a fantastic artist. We reviewed his current book, Something is Killing the Children. And I did a one shot of, well, he did the covers, but
yeah.
But yeah, he's a talent, man. And Oz got shelled out some cash and got some fucking commission done by him. Let me see if I can share it for you. Oz isn't here to share it himself, but
yeah.
Let's see.
No, it was a 6 sketch, and while we were standing there, they had a person came to get Inhumans #1 that he did the art for signed, and yeah, man, amazing stuff.
That Inhumans
And-
number 1 is such an iconic cover, like
Yeah.
period. And the fact that it's him is, yeah, it's cool.
And the cover is mostly black. They signed it in chrome.
Yeah.
Which, and they told the dude, like, hey, just so you know, like, you set it over on the table over there and let it dry for a little bit, and then you can put it back in the bag. But like they brought a special pen just to sign that book in particular.
Yeah.
They like that book that much, and I'm like,
Wait.
that makes a lot of sense too, because it's not like, I don't even think did they charge the guy?
No.
I don't think so. I think,
I think they always have chrome pens.
No, well, at least not Jay Lee. Like, he was signing everything with a regular Sharpie, and that one, because it was so black, they used that special pen. That's
But
what
I
the
know
guy-
I've seen other artists like who do signings. Like
yeah,
they'll
other
have a
artists.
chrome pen in reserve
oh,
for
okay.
like dark.
Dark covers.
Right.
This
Oh,
is what the one that they used was like a paint pen, so it's actual like metallic pigment on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas others, they probably, I don't know what they use, but I know working in the art supply store in the past, there's certain Sharpies that mimic that effect and have high contrast on dark surfaces. But yeah, that's the one that Oz got, and I actually bought.
So good.
I don't even know if I have it here, but I bought a lot of shit. I went to Comic-Con, my first Comic-Con when I was 16 years old. No money.
Yeah.
Then I went with you guys. No money.
No money.
So I've made a little bit of lettuce in this business.
Now he's money magnum.
Yeah. So you know what? Why not buy a bunch of shit? Now let me see here. So I bought this at his booth. It's a book that I wanted to read, Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog, and it's a horror comic. It's an image. This is a 1 in 25 cover or whatever, or one in one of 400 copies. It's the Jay Lee variant, you know. And so he signed it for me, and I got that. But then
that was the day
the
before
designer in this book, the guy that did the logos and shit, is a dude named David Barron, and he did the Doom comic for was Boom Studios, and he had a special Black Friday deal. I don't remember the price because I just took the deal. Issues 1 through 4 look like this: 4,
cool.
3, 2, and 1. They're all blank covers, and basically he drew one for me, like as part of the
very
deal.
nice.
So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, and so like, you got every issue of this series is a blank cover. Like, for me, that's what I want. Like, I want every series to have, like, just give them all blank covers. Now, they couldn't do all blank covers, so they did this weird thing with the each one is a setting, of the book.
But it's blank enough.
Yeah, and you could do a sketch in it.
You can.
Yeah. But I met him through Jay Lee. He said, because he told me, like, yeah, I'll sign this one for you, but if you want David Barron, the designer, to sign it too, he's right over there. And then I talked to him. He wasn't there. His son was there. So I just started talking to his son. And I'm like, he's like a little 10-year-old boy. And he's like, oh, yeah, I want to be a lawyer.
Boo!
Because I asked him, like, because he was like kind of drawing and stuff, and like, you want to go to the family business? And he's like, no, I want to be either a soccer player or a lawyer. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, like, every family needs a lawyer. Yeah.
Right. That's true.
You need, that's it. And so he's actually, David Barron's going to be at LA Comic Con, pointing that way because that's the train station where I'm going. And he's got a new book coming out, and it's I forgot what he told me. It's edibles and whiskey and shit. So, But yeah, I'm going down to LA Comic Con and see him and maybe get another one of these Dune covers done. I
When are
like
you
to
gonna go?
Sunday because
Okay.
I got a lot of work
Yeah, of
to
course,
make
of
up
course.
for.
Right. I might try to go with you.
Yeah, I took 5 days off. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and so what else? Were you gonna share something else with us in regards to what you bought, or you're?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stories. Let's see, I got to talk to uh, so yeah, back to my motif of my first Comic Con at 16 with no money.
Right.
This year at this weird new Comic Con that felt oddly like my first one, I saw Mirka Andolfo and I was able to buy some art. And my first one, I remember the first artist I saw was an artist I liked a lot by the name of David Mack.
Oh
And
yes.
so I got to speak to him, and I remember going in that first Comic Con, and he's just painting away, but he's at like the image booth doing like kabuki stuff, commission, and signing. And here he was just by himself, and we got to talking. I had a full on conversation with him, but before I get to that, I bought a Death print and a Morpheus print from Sandman. I actually got
Nice.
4 prints. The other 2 are in there too. I haven't had these framed yet. And
Yeah.
it's Desire and Destruction from the Sandman comics. So he gave me a deal. He's like, yeah, just take 4 for $100. I'm like, all right. Shoot. All right. You don't gotta tell me twice. I know a Mo
There
deal
it
when I
is.
see one. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're like 35 a piece because they're specific prints and they have Neil Gaiman quotes on them from the book. And so one day hopefully I'll get Neil Gaiman to sign them. But yeah, those should get me some money once the series comes out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
David
yeah,
Mack did an amazing
I'm not
Moon
gonna
Knight.
sell them. Yeah.
Right.
And he said I forgot what it so we talked about Kabuki.
Mm-hmm.
And I told, Kabuki is one of those books that they probably would have tried to make into a movie in the late 90s and early 2000s and would have been a crappy movie. But now with the TV landscape the way it is, so many outlets, like, do you, you think that in the future, like, who do we need to talk to get this ball rolling? Like the Epic series, the HBO Max series, like the AMC Plus series, And he goes, he told me that this was odd, but it makes sense that they've been trying to make Kabuki for a long time, and for about 7 years or so, he only he lived off of like just doing pure Kabuki scripts that never got made into anything. And I'm like, wow, like from being in the business myself, that's at least $125,000 for a script.
Yeah,
Job,
like a spec script. Yeah,
they made that for 7 years. They not mad. And then then he had a bunch of Echo because he saw me stop at an Echo print, and he goes, "Did you get to watch Hawkeye yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we finally got an Echo," like, and he's like, "Yeah, finally." And I'm like, I was pissed at Endgame when she wasn't the first Ronin because it's like, what the fuck? Like they're just skipping over a cool fucking character, And even like, and I told him even like in Daredevil, like the character that got to play Elektra, like I felt she would have been a better Echo, And he's like, "Oh yeah, I thought that too," And yeah, it was a cool conversation to have with David Mack, and I'm like, man,
right.
Like I've come a long way in these Comic Cons, like
yeah,
and yeah, that was just a cool moment, and it's a testament to how small it is, but still a high profile convention it is,
right.
Because there's been times where like you couldn't talk to David Mack, he's too busy.
Absolutely. It's like again, David Mack have been running from panel to panel or messing around, had some kind of meeting or be drawing and just be so like, okay, I got this commission, and so focused on getting that art done that he doesn't have the time to exchange pleasantries. But that's not what special edition was at all. Special edition was super chill. So even though people were still busy though, and that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to spend money on this year. And because there was no big lines, like you could do it. You know,
It's true.
I didn't get to go to the Nuclear Blast booth.
What's the Nuclear Blast booth?
Nuclear Blast is a heavy metal record label, and they always get a booth at Comic-Con.
What were they there?
Yeah, but
Oh.
when they were there, they did have a little bit of a crowd because they had the Mexican wrestler there doing a signing. And
is it
Santo?
somebody famous?
Yeah, Santo, the silver mask guy. You know,
okay.
yeah.
I probably have seen him.
Yeah, you've seen him. And
Yeah.
and I'm not a fan. And I'm not gonna try and get through that line to go buy my, Comic-Con exclusive Slayer figurines,
Yeah.
So I made a point to go back, and then I forgot to go back. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand. Listen, I spent 2 days trying to get to the Flame Toys booth
Yeah.
and never got there. And it's so crazy because like the first day I told you all, I was like, oh damn, like Flame Toys is there, and I saw the booth, but we were doing something else and we walked by it, and then I was looking at like a video recap of like one of the guys that I watch that does like Transformer news stuff, and he's like, Flame Toys is at San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition. I'm looking at this joint like, damn, like I'm there and I didn't see this. I need to make sure I go see this the next day, and I still didn't get to the goddamn Flame Toys booth. And I'm like, I was thinking about that actually like earlier today. I was like, man, how did I not go to Flames Toys? Like I should have went to Flames Toys. And not, I wouldn't have bought anything because Flames Toys stuff is expensive. And it is expensive. And that's probably, I guess, like two things. If they're expensive and a lot of time they're larger, and I don't have the money or the space for it. So like even if I had the money, I'd still be like, But I unfortunately this con I didn't buy a lot. And it's not because I didn't want to. It's just that I messed around, and all the things that I wanted to buy, I either like they were not selling them, or if they were selling them, I was like, that feels like a high price. And then when I look, I'm like, yeah, I can get that cheaper, like not from them. like one thing I saw that I really thought I was gonna buy was they had a Transformers Shockwave pop, and like I have like not all of them, but I have a good number of the Transformers pops already. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, like I want to get the Shockwave pop, and there was one spot selling it for like $25, and I was like, dude, like, is this what $25? I'm like, I don't know, like. And then I went to another booth, and they were selling it for $40. And I was like, man,
that feels like it's too much.
Well, look, I thought $25 was a lot personally, but when I went to the other booth, and I was like, and I was just thinking like, oh, that feels a little much. I was like, let me just go look at some other booths and see if they have it and how much they want to sell it for. And when I went to the other booth and it was $40, I was like, wait a minute, so. Is that joint like is $25 a deal? And then I went to go look at it, and I was like, man, I can order this joint from Target right now for like $11 or like $12.
Yeah, $11.99 at Target.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't in stock until like literally that weekend. So I don't know if Target was just like, man, let's see if we can undercut San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition. I don't know.
You could get it from Akari for like $15.
Yeah, see? Yeah. I think it was a Target exclusive, and they just like restocked it. So like they literally just restocked it. Because I went to another booth, and the guy was like, if I was selling it, I would sell it for $40. He's like, I think that they put some up on Target like literally this weekend. And I had already looked it up myself, so I knew he was telling me the truth, and I appreciated him because I was like, oh, like he like tried to hook a brother up. You know what I'm saying? Like he I mean, obviously he did because he didn't have it. Like if I was there, he would probably try to sell it to me for 40. But at the very least, he was just like, hey man, I don't have it, but you know, I think they did put some up at Target. I'm like, you didn't have to tell me that. And I knew he was right. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So, you know, that guy, he told me they were going to be at LA Comic Con this weekend. So if I go to LA Comic Con with Moses on Sunday, I'm going to go buy some stuff from them just because they were nice.
Now, Larry, are you meaning to tell me that I should have not spent $100 on this Entertainment Earth exclusive Captain Marvel Spider-Man?
I don't know. I would. Does Entertainment Earth not have it anymore?
Well, I don't even know what Entertainment Earth is.
Oh, it's a website.
What's a website?
Oh, Lord.
No, I'm kidding. It was $25, and I just bought it because I love Captain Universe Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
And I think it's gonna go up because Captain Universe Spider-Man is gonna come out in fucking No Way Home.
Listen, what? Why are you putting that out there?
Watch.
Listen, that would be a hell of a way that, I mean, like to try to up the stakes. That would be crazy if that did happen. Oh, yeah. But yeah. So the other thing I was hoping to buy which I definitely would have bought if they would have sold it to me. Mo, you showed me the friggin' like tabletop game thing, the place where they had like little figurines.
I don't even have the pictures here to like share them.
It's a
video.
I can't think of the name of the company. I feel really bad. And so it's like,
come on. There you go. CMON.
Yeah. And they had basically they have like a tabletop game that has, you know, Marvel, like it's kind of like SD kind of designed, like, you know, little chibi Marvel figures of, you know, the different characters. And so for me, I like that design in general anyway for a lot of things. Theirs were actually really nice and dynamic, but they had these like awesome paint jobs, and I was just like, oh my God, like if I was like easy, I don't know how much these things cost, but all I want, if they have the original X-Men, I'll get them. I'll get Magneto. I saw there was an Apocalypse. I'm like, I want that. And it turned out that that's all display stuff. Like none of it was stuff that I could actually buy then and there. And then the other part I found out was the figures don't come painted. You have to, those were custom paints, which the custom paint was amazing. I was like, wow, blown away by the custom paint jobs. And so, you know, but the figures themselves, even unpainted, are really nice. And so I want to get them still just for a collectible, from a collectibles kind of aspect. But they gave us some, which was cool, or they just like, hey, here's some giveaways. And so we got Thor. But, you know.
They had an awesome table that we're going to buy for the next time we're at the Hall of F.
There it is. That's what happens at the Hall of F. You got to get on the table.
The audience is going to be mad at you for this, but I'm going to put you on the spot too, because I remember you're like, no, this table's too big. We can't get this. And I go, no, because you need to put the camera rig so that we can get everybody's perspective. You're like, not everything needs to be for YouTube. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are we doing here then? You know, I'm thinking about the audience.
Wait, what did I do that for?
You didn't. You said not everything needs to be filmed.
When like was that when I had the edible?
No, that was the day before.
Yeah, we're looking at that table that it looked like a pool table with no pockets, but so that we could play that game.
Oh, okay. Well, look, I believe it. It sounds like something I might say, but I was like, I don't know. Like, and I'm right actually about that.
No, you're not.
Everything doesn't have to be for you too.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, if I'm in the bathroom
We're
I
trying to
need
get
you to
that
take
tax
your little snake
deductible.
cam out of there, Moses. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Get that from under the door.
We need to
It's
get
not for the audience.
that tax deductible, man.
That tax deductible. Okay, got it. Mo's trying to save us money. So,
And then the next day was Larry's birthday.
woo, good
Larry
times.
got to celebrate his birthday at Comic-Con. He turned 22.
That's it. Like. I don't look. You put the camera on me. I don't know that I have anything to say other than it was a fantastic time. I don't know what you want me to say about it.
When are you gonna tell thank you to all the Instagram followers that wished you a happy birthday?
Did Instagram people wish me a happy birthday?
Yeah,
Oh,
because there's a post for your birthday wishing you a happy birthday on Instagram, and everybody's like, some lady that thinks she's your mom is saying happy birthday.
She thinks
You
she's
know.
my mom, or she my mom? Damn it! Gotta go look. It's like, no. It's like, is that you, mom? No.
My handsome son, and I know your mom don't think you're handsome.
Wow, is that where we're at? Okay, that's where we're at. That's okay. That's all right. But yeah, man. It was a good time, man. Like honestly, it's like being there with you all was exactly what I was hoping like it would be. And it was just good people, good comics, good food, friggin' good drinks, like just great company. You know, it was awesome. It was awesome. I will say, like, I know I didn't have like anything to really show in regards to what I bought, but I did decide to bring this out because I was like, well, I didn't get to drink this on my birthday. So I was like, this might be a good time to crack this open and see what this is like. You want to tell the people what this is, Mo?
This is a Border Brewing. We went to a brewery for your birthday, and they were closing, so we got it to go. So that's 32 ounces of what is it, horchata?
Yeah.
Yeah, so horchata is like a rice, cinnamony drink, kind of like rice milk. Some places make it with actual milk, and it's a little weird, but it's a tasty drink. And it's a beer which Larry doesn't like, and it's horchata, which is kind of like an acquired taste. So if Larry wants to do a little taste test and tell us how much
let's do it.
saison, I had the blood saison, which is kind of like it's a ale, and it's a lighter, more champagne-y type beer, and mine was with orange saison, which is like more of a blood orange champagne type.
It's actually pretty good.
Really?
Wow, I'm actually, dude, I'm surprised myself because I was totally ready to be like, but it's actually pretty good.
What does it taste like? Like what are you experiencing as you taste it?
It tastes like it definitely has like the like I can taste like I've had of course I've had beer, I've had horchata before. It definitely is like what I was thinking it was going to be was kind of like the worst of both, but it's the best. It's the best of both. It's like it has like it's not as like it's a little smoother because it has that horchata kind of flavor to it, but at the same time it still has a little bit of the bite of the beer. I'm actually really impressed because I know the young lady behind the counter was like, yeah, like if you don't like beer, you're gonna like this. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know about that, lady. Larry says horchata. I don't know, it's too late. But
I thought trying to just get rid of us.
Right. But no, it's actually like this is actually like good. Like I might actually finish this.
Wow. Look, I'm happy to hear that.
It's a lot of beer though.
Yeah, it's only 32 ounces.
That's a lot of beer.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, you don't drink beer at all.
I feel like it's a lot because it's beer. Like, you know, if it was like 32 ounces of whiskey, then no. Or vodka, then yeah, I mean, it's not that much. Or like fruit punch or water. Like any of those things is like, yeah, but 32 ounces of beer, I was like, beer? So it feels like, I mean, this doesn't feel heavy yet, but I'm sure when I get halfway through this, I'm gonna be
But
like, what was I
how's it
thinking?
like the mouthfeel, the texture? Like, is it milky like horchata, or like light and fizzy like beer?
It's both. It's light. Like it does have like a little bit of, I don't know if I call it milky. I would call it more like silky. But
Okay.
it definitely feels different than how beer feels. But at the same time, there's the light fizz after.
Okay.
So it's like you can tell, like nobody would, if you pour this into a cup and drink it, you would know you were drinking beer, but you'd be like, oh well, why is it like so smooth, you know? And it's like enough of it where you might be like, if you're familiar with horchata, you might be like, this is kind of like if horchata was a beer. Like you might not be like, this is definitely horchata, but you might be like, this is what I would imagine if it was an horchata beer, it might be like this, you know?
Okay.
And then somebody be like, that's exactly what we were going for. You know? You know, you're like, oh wow. You know? But it definitely it's a beer. But it's also horchata beer.
Well,
So that's cool. Wow.
I gotta try that one next because I'm not the hugest fan of horchata.
Mm-hmm.
Being
Nor am I, honestly.
half Salvadorian, half Mexican, I've had like ones that are way too milky.
Yeah.
Ones that are way too dusty, like the grinding of the rice, cinnamon, and shit. And
dusty.
yeah, like there's a layer of dirt at the bottom, and which I don't mind in my Turkish coffee, but it's not like, for some reason it doesn't hit me the right way there. So and plus when I eat, I eat spicy food, and mixing that milky horchata with spicy food just like it's like vomit going in. So I'm like, I'm not. Yeah, I stick to beer. Just give me beer or a Coke or a Diet Coke or whatever, something that fizzy.
I will say that what this is missing is that cinnamon feel, like that cinnamon flavor.
Okay.
And I mean, at the same time though, keeping in mind that, you know, we got this like Sunday.
Yeah.
And so it very well might have had like more of a cinnamon flavor to it, you know, when it was being originally poured on Sunday. I literally like, you know, we came back on Monday, then I put it in the fridge, and it's been sitting there until now, which is Wednesday evening. So who knows? When I get to the bottom of it, it might be a whole bunch of cinnamon flavor down there. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think you would experience it already because they're usually pretty good at preserving that, unless it's actual cinnamon dust at the bottom. But I doubt because of how it's poured and how it's maintained in the kegs. So
if it had a more cinnamon flavor to it, I would like it more because I do like cinnamon. And you know, I mean, if I mean, obviously horchata has a certain amount of sweetness to it, but it's not like over sweet, you know. And so it's like maybe that would have helped some too, because you know, I mean, cinnamon by itself isn't a flavor most people like. Most people like cinnamon and sugar,
right?
You know,
yeah.
So you know, but you know, if it had like a more cinnamon kind of aspect to it, I think I would like it even more. But I still like it. Like I'm just like, you know, I'm actually, like I said, I'm kind of blown away by how good it is, because I was not expecting it to be good at all. Yeah. Now, we went to Salud, which is basically like a taco stand in like, you know, the San Diego area, whatnot, for dinner that night, and you know, had some kick-ass tacos and quesadillas and whatnot, which was really cool. Like I really enjoyed it, and then ended the night with, or at least I ended my meal, I should say, ended my meal with friggin' ice cream and churros, and that ended up becoming the pick for this show. Yeah, the thumbnail for this show. So if you're like, what's happening in that thumbnail, you can thank Moses Magnum, because, and Oz and Jay, because that's what they wanted to do. I know for me, I was like, I don't need that thumbnail.
I like
And
the
I was
other
like,
picture.
what? You said you liked them both, Joe.
Well, I do.
Look, I'm just saying, don't make it sound like you messed around and you were like, use the other one. Because if you said use the other one, then I would have been like, oh, it's a tie. And then it's like, I'll break the tie, even though I voted already, because I'm the one that's actually posting.
Well, and Oz isn't on the show, so his vote only counts like half.
Nah, man, I was just like, hey, like, you know,
It's a great picture. Like, it's better. Like, it reminds me of like how cool, like the brick picture, but this one was like we're all happy, we're all going to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
We're like outside, like it.
Yeah,
Just an amazing feeling looking at that picture.
yeah, no, I agree. It was a great shot, and I'm so happy that Em was ever able to capture that. Thank you, Emily, for that, because that was a great moment. And it definitely encapsulated like the energy of that particular piece of time. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, it was a great time all around. And my favorite part was when Jay started talking about pink poop.
Jay,
Right.
why were you talking about pink poop, Jay?
Because it was Comic-Con, and so I went to a panel. And this panel was about cereal box art. And it's the kind of panel I go to at Comic-Con. Like, I go to the offbeat kind of, well, I say offbeat, even though the rooms are almost always full for these panels. But yeah, like other people go to like comic creator panels and, you know, artist spotlight panels. I go to like weird shit panels. And so this one was a cereal box art, and during the presentation, it came up that originally the Frankenberry cereal would make your poop turn pink, and it took them a couple months, but they fixed it. But that was a thing, like pink poop caused by the Frankenberry cereal.
That's crazy. I didn't even get to go to any panels.
Yeah, I didn't either. I feel this year, like all the panels were like kind of the offbeat panels that you don't get other years, or you don't get to see other years, you know?
Well, they had a few of the spotlights, you know. Kevin Eastman had a panel. I can't remember them all offhand, but there were some good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, honestly, I was hoping that we might be able to check out Comics on Comics panel, but you know, as far as like, you know, when we got done with Comic-Con that day and just trying to get back to the place and all that kind of stuff, it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But yeah, like there were some like panels. I know that they also had like the Black panel, which is a panel I usually like to attend at Comic-Con, but it was so early on Friday that I wasn't even in San Diego when it happened. And I'm like, that sucked for me.
And Black people.
It sucked for me and Black people, which I would like to think of myself as a part of, but
because I wanted to go, but I can't go without Larry. Like,
you can go. You don't need you. It's not the cookout mode. You can just show up to the Black panel. The cookout, you need to be. Don't come to the cookout and be like, wait, who are you? Who are you? Like this Italian dude just showed up to the cookout with no invitation, no pass, nothing.
It's like Dice and Guy Fieri's son just came in.
Dice and Guy Fieri. Wait, you're not giving yourself nearly enough credit. Like I feel you with the Dice. I don't think you got the Guy Fieri. Even not to knock Guy Fieri, because I think Guy Fieri is awesome. Cool guy. He's super cool, but I don't know. I don't feel like you have the Guy Fieri vibes. I don't feel like people want to just punch you in the face. If they want to punch you in the face, it's because they know why. They know what you said. Yeah. Jim Lee, right? Exactly. He's like that guy. talking about I'm no Liefeld. Oh man. But yeah, where were the panels?
Upstairs.
Okay, so like where they usually are.
Right.
Look, it's so funny because I know that we exited out the lobby, but it didn't feel like I'm like it. If you had asked me before this moment, I would have told you that they probably demolished those escalators that usually go up there because I don't remember seeing them at all. Like I'm just like it, like it's like usually it feels like you can't help but see that stuff because it's like everything kind of leads you one way or another because there's so many different things that you have to see and have to be a part of. But
it's the people. Like normally, there's a ton of people on them.
Yes, so.
Like at all time, like there's like always someone on the escalator, and so like in other Comic Cons, you can't miss them because there are people in the air. Like
that's true too.
All the time.
Yeah, and that was another thing that like there was cosplay at San Diego Comic Con Special Edition, obviously, and some of it was actually really good. But it was so fewer people that you don't get like the kind of variety or even, necessarily like, there's always like, like one thing that I usually like to do once Comic-Con is over is be like, like go and look at like some of the coverage because I know that there's things that I'm not gonna have seen, and I like looking at like people's list of like, hey, some of the best Comic-Con or some of the best cosplay you saw at, San Diego Comic-Con because it's like, half of them, or maybe even 3/4 of them, I actually saw in person. But there's always like, that quarter where I'm like, dude, there was somebody that was dressed like this there. I didn't see that at all, and there was like a site or two that tried to do it for special edition, but you have so fewer people that it doesn't like people aren't necessarily like they're not bringing like they're not going all out in the same way, because there are people that spend an entire year making a costume to show out at San Diego Comic-Con, and that just wasn't happening at special edition, unfortunately. So
there is a video montage on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Some of the cosplay stuff.
Yeah. We saw like an amazing Captain America and Winter Soldier.
I didn't put that in it.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
I might give that I might give that its own little like its own little spotlight because it was a husband and wife and they were too far for me to get on camera. So I just get the video record and they just start holding hands off in the distance. And I'm like, no, edit this to make it like cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of couple cosplays. Like,
yeah.
A lot of husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend or significant other cosplays, which I thought was cool.
But honestly, like it was like there were I feel like a lot of the people that came were kind of like hardcore about it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like some people like now don't get me wrong, it's like I'm not saying I guess maybe hardcore is maybe not the right word. It depends on how you feel about hardcore, right? Because it's like I feel like the people that dressed up really wanted to dress up and they really wanted to like have a good showing for the characters that they liked. Like I'm not taking anything away from people that like the people I was talking about just a moment ago that like spend the entire year for that moment at Comic-Con, because obviously those people are hardcore in a different way where they're spending a lot of time and focus in making like a costume that they want to make sure that they're seen in, and so that's hardcore as well. It's just I think it's different because it's like I feel like the people that were dressing up this year didn't care as much about being seen as much as they did like wanting to have a good representation for whatever character, because they knew, or at least I think they understood that they very well might not get seen, because so much fewer people there. So yeah. So what would you? Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, please, you go ahead. I talked a lot already, Jay.
No, I was just going to ask if there was any news out of Comic-Con we need to go through.
There is some. Apparently John Cena showed up.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you all heard that, but John Cena came in friggin' full Peacemaker regalia and crashed a panel, which I'm assuming was a panel about the show. There's John Cena right there. There's John Cena. No. Who's that, Moses?
Oh, some of the couples cosplay that Emily took pictures of. I forgot I had them here.
Cool.
Yeah. There's a couple.
Oh, they're what you call it. They're from Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Oh. I did not know that. They're villagers?
He's holding KK Slider.
Yes, KK Slider and Tom Nook. And then I took these Mandalorian pictures.
That's nice.
Loki.
Oh, that's very cool. Oh, wow. I didn't see them.
It's Ong and
I did.
Oh, okay, Jay. Jay's like, I saw. Jay's like, meh.
No, they were good.
This is like an elderly couple that was dressed like this.
What are they supposed to be?
Like Koopa people?
Okay, I was definitely getting the that's like a spiny hat, right?
Yeah.
But why are they yellow?
I don't know, but they matched and I thought it was adorable.
No, I'm not knocking them. I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what the concept is.
Oh, that's something else.
Oh, there's Mo.
That was me trying to look good for Larry.
Look, I guess I was gone. Yeah.
I was trying to surprise you when he came back, and then you never came back.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you put that comment into chat already, Jay?
Which one?
The last one from Hecht. Hecht says, "How would anyone know John Cena was there? Who saw him?" That's classic. I agree. I guess it was reported that John Cena was there. Technically, no one saw him.
Fake news.
It's like if he wears the Peacemaker outfit, we saw that John Cena was there in his Peacemaker outfit, but he takes off the mask. It's like, wait, what happened? Where'd he go? So, yeah. But that's pretty cool. And I don't know if it was a thing where he was like walking around the con or anything like that. But I feel like even if John Cena was walking around the con in a Peacemaker outfit, people would know because it like you can't don't get me wrong. There's probably a guy out there that would be an amazing like Peacemaker cosplay because he has like the physique for it. But I don't know if he's gonna have like John Cena's like profile. You know what I mean? Like if I see that chin, I'm gonna be like, I think that's Cena. Like I need the dude to take the mask off to show me he's not Cena. You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey, take off your Comic-Con mandated mask so I know that you're not Cena. So yeah. What else was happening out of Comic-Con? I heard go ahead, Jay.
You mean Mo?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mo.
He's on that horchata.
I'm on that horchata.
No. I was trying to find out like the numbers, like in terms like if it was less or not, but I can't find that.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not going to release it anytime soon. It's like it'll happen probably eventually because
Yeah.
somebody, you have to report numbers to somebody, and somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, this was the number," but
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be.
Nobody's really expecting to do anything huge anyway, right? Like,
Right.
Heck missed the beer review.
Yes, I'm drinking horchata beer from my birthday, Heck. So, yeah. Cheers.
It says that my red hair is sick. Thank you.
Yes, it's true. Right here. Wait, hold on. There it is. I think Jay put that in there, but I'll put it back.
But you ignored it.
Well, I didn't ignore it. Like he put it in there when I was talking about something else.
I see how. I see how.
Yeah. Also, well, actually, I should wait till Jay comes back before I mention that piece of news. But and Jay's leaving, so who knows? No, like, but no, I guess I'll just mention it then. But it's two things have happened, I guess, that are interrelated. Two. So one thing that happened is that Rich Johnston from Bleeding Cool has reported that IDW is losing the license to Transformers and G.I. Joe comics. And so he has a source that he didn't cite or name that is basically saying that, sometime in 2022, IDW is going to lose that license. And so, technically it's a rumor because it's not, he hasn't put.
Remember what I told you at the beginning of Comic-Con when we got there?
What?
That I need to talk to somebody. Like, we need to prepare for not needing licenses to sell comics. Remember I told you I wanted to talk to somebody at IDW about this shit?
Oh, yeah, I do remember you saying that. I do remember you saying that. So are you his source?
No, I'm not his source, and I'm by no way giving you.
That's exactly what his source might say.
But what I can't tell you is this: is that they're paying more for their licenses than than the profit is worth. So I'm not saying nothing official. I think those licenses are not they're costing more than they're bringing in. You know what I mean?
No, wait. Okay. And I know what you're saying with that. Like, Jay, just to catch you up, we're talking about the rumor or unofficial statement that IDW is losing the Transformers and the G.I. Joe license to make comics. And so you're saying that you feel like IDW might be saying like, hey, we don't need these licenses because they cost way too much money and we don't get the return on the books like we would it's not worth it for us.
You know what it is? It's more of it costs more, and to renew them would cost them more. I can't speak for IDW like that, but I know that we would love to keep them, but if they're going to cost more than what they're doing, because it's not the comics that, it's not the big shit that, like, if they give me a Yellowstone comic from Paramount, because it's what it is, it's all Paramount licenses. So they're going to, like, they say Star Trek and, was it Transformers and G.I. Joe is what they said? But I think it's going to be all Paramount. I think Paramount's getting big. Paramount Plus is getting big. They're putting out more content. They're looking for somebody that pays more for their license, They want the license to be worth more because they're putting out more content that would tie into those comics, The cross promotion is bigger now. So this isn't from any official source or anything. This is from me observing the market that I've been observing for the last year, which is IDW. And, I was about 3 months ago in my mind, I'm like, I got to talk to somebody up there because we need to nurture some more creative, creator-owned haven for comics, some
Mhm.
more, something like on an image level, while you still have these licenses, and then move on into these IPs, IP sharing or something like that, or maybe even creating their own line of stuff, that they'll like pay people to create a universe for you, or alongside the stuff you have. Maybe develop more of a digital presence in digital comics too, you know. But I haven't been able
It's
to get a hold of somebody.
it's interesting though, because it's one of those things where, from my perspective, I'm like, I mean, the Transformers, like the Transformers license. I mean, or I guess the Transformers as a property right now is a decent sized property, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, don't, I mean, and when I say that, I don't mean it like, I mean, obviously, like, when we're talking about movies or TV shows versus comics, there's always going to be, the tiers, the levels, you know what I'm saying? It's like, obviously, those Transformers movies, they do well, they're not good, but they do well. And so it's like, you
But
would
those
think,
people that love those movies don't want to read comics. They don't want to read.
and they don't want to. Right. They're, well, I'm not gonna say they're illiterate, but they don't want to read those comics, and yeah, because those comics are G1 comics, and like Bayverse stuff is Bayverse stuff. Like those are different. But at the same time, I'm like, I wonder if like a Marvel or a DC bought the Transformers license, would they like if DC was putting out Transformers comic books, would that sell more comics just because it's DC? It's
Well,
like,
I can tell you this now, right now, none of those will buy those licenses.
none of those people
Marvel
that are
or
Transformers.
DC.
I agree. Well, I know Marvel won't.
Yeah.
You don't think DC might? DC
Nah,
could.
DC's not buying shit. They're about to get sold to Marvel. They ain't buying shit. Right now we're looking at your Dark Horse, your fucking your Dynamite or your Boom Studios.
See, but that's the whole thing for me, where I'm like, it's interesting because it's like, I don't feel like a Transformers, like from the perspective of like from Hasbro, like they're not gonna get more readers by putting their comics on any of those other publishers. They might get less.
They might, but they the thing is the licensor doesn't give a fuck about who reads it.
That's
They give a
true.
fuck about how much money they're getting from the license.
Like, but I'm saying, is a Boom or like, are one of those other publishers, is a Dark Horse going to be like, oh yeah, like we can pay them more money, get that Transformers license, and we're going to put out comics that Transformers fans are going to flock to, and it's going to be worth it? Like, I don't understand.
Give you the non-Bay script comic. They'll give you like they did with what is it, the Alien and Prometheus. Like they give you a Prometheus comic, they give you a Prometheus sequel that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then they gave you the Prometheus sequel, came out and like undid all of that, the awesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like, didn't give a fuck what they did, so
but I guess what I'm saying is, like, doesn't Alien, like I guess, like, just from the publisher perspective, it feels like Alien lends itself to Dark Horse, or Dark Horse lends itself to Alien, whichever way you want to say it. Like, it feels like that meshes a lot better than, like, say, like, I can't even imagine what a Dark Horse Transformers comic would be like.
Like, can you imagine what a Dark Horse, what a Marvel Alien would be like?
Yeah, I've been reading it. It's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Of course, you think it's amazing, but it's like you're the Marvel guy. Like, but that's the thing. It's like your expectations is not. It's all expectations and perspectives on what you think Dark Horse does or should do or should be doing, and it's really
Mm.
just they can do Transformers just as easily as they did Star Wars, as they did World of Warcraft, as they did fucking The Witcher. It's just licensing. You just get, they'll do it just the same.
Well,
So
what do you think, Shay?
What do I think? I think we should start the wrap up.
Because I do have technically another part to this same story, and then we'll wrap up not long after that. But Jay, like, just from your perspective, do you, like, when you talk, like Mo just mentioned Star Wars, Witcher, what else did you just say? I'm sorry.
World of Warcraft.
Star Wars, Witcher, World of Warcraft.
I don't even think they did World of Warcraft, but I threw that in anyway.
No, but here's the thing. I agree with you. I feel like Dark Horse could do any of those books. I personally feel like Transformers is different from those books. Like, I understand that it's like all of those are licensable properties, and I agree with you. But I feel like Transformers is different from those books, and I feel like Dark Horse would lend itself to those other three, but not necessarily Transformers. But I hear exactly what you're saying. Huh?
I think it does.
So a Dark Horse could produce a Transformers book, and it would have like a good Transformers kind of tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Well then, yeah. Like
you're just a little biased from what like the companies that you've seen do Transformers in the past. Your Dreamwave, your Marvel. First of all, Dreamwave, like they just gave themselves the Transformers all together. So of course they're gonna do it because they don't do anything else. And IDW is another one. Like their team, they put in a good team to do Transformers books, and they gave you a bunch of different stuff, and they're all in it. And Dark Horse, I mean, dude, they've done that. They made their career on it, on giving allocating the right talent to the right license.
And I'll give you that. I just kind of feel like it feels like Dark Horse doesn't buy licenses willy-nilly. It feels like they buy licenses that they feel like they can excel at. But I could be wrong about that. It could be the opposite, just like how you said, where it's like my expectation is kind of clouding my judgment here. And it's like, no, like Dark Horse is just good at bringing licenses to life in the comic space. And it's like, okay, cool. But I guess at the end of the day, it just kind of feels like all of the franchises you mentioned before have a certain amount of grittiness to them that I think that Transformers kind of lacks. And it's not that Transformers can't be gritty. It's just that gritty isn't the default. I feel like if you're talking about Witcher,
Usagi's not gritty.
Yeah, Dark Horse has done plenty of books without grit.
Like
Usagi Yojimbo isn't gritty.
Is Usagi Yojimbo not gritty?
No.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
Actually, old Transformers is a lot grittier.
Marvel Transformers?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay. I can see where you're coming from with that, because you're right. Like, you do have, like, friggin' Megatron and Ratchet fused together. That is pretty gritty.
And the Mechanibles.
Oh, yeah, Mechanibles. You're right. Mechanibles. Anyway, the other part of this story is that apparently when Bleeding Cool announced this thing, a lot of Transformers fans were like very unhappy about it and basically said, you don't know what you're talking about and you're just talking nonsense and look at all these question marks in your headline. And it was like they treated it like Bleeding Cool has never broken a story before that isn't questionable, which I mean, and the thing that really stood out was that they called they were like, the name for like sycophantic Transformers fans is Robo Brony. And I was like, Robo Brony? I'm like, that's not a thing, is it? Like Robo Brony? I feel like if that was a thing, I would have known. Like, or I don't know, or hardcore Transformers fans are called Robo Bronies, which I was like, it's just a bad name. It's like, if nothing else, Robrony, right?
Robrony, yeah.
Joe, Robrony?
Trannies.
I don't like it.
I don't think you can say that. I don't think
In that context, you can.
I think that's insensitive. No, listen. I remember back in the day they did call Transformers fans trans fans.
Yeah, trans fans. Right.
And I don't think that you can do that anymore.
Insane.
Wrap it up, B.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, man, we're over.
We're over.
Now we're over, Larry.
Dang, like 8 seconds. Damn it. Okay.
It's like,
Jay,
Mo, that's why I wanted to wrap early, because I know we always go on like this.
Jay, now you're keeping us over, Jay. You should just give us final thoughts, Jay. That's what you should do instead of taking us over.
Watch Amphibia, watch Owl House, and read Mirka Andolfo.
All right. Mo's Magnum, final thoughts.
One of the things I didn't get to talk about that I got was Helm Castle. Helm Great Castle. It's a story of, it's a Lord of the Rings type story where the Spanish never conquered the Aztecs. And written by a dude in Top Cow, from Top Cow, and he says it's hard being brown in comics. So hopefully I'll be reviewing this soon in a one shot or something. But you're only going to find out if you subscribe, like, hit the bell, and there's more to come.
For the entire, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Heck's comment. That's hilarious. Look, for the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you, FU Spaniards. We'll be back next week. This is Fantastic Forum. Until next time, we're out.